Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Football is a Religion. Hope you guys are having a healthy and productive 2024 so far. I hope you guys are working hard, sticking to the plan. I hope you guys are well working towards achieving your goals, right? Happy 2024 once again. And if you are new to this platform, welcome, man. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to talk about the Premier League. I'm Bubesi Mphathi Mhlaba. You understand? You can check me out on Instagram as Bubesi Mphathi Mhlaba. Check me out on Twitter as Bubesi_11, and as well as on TikTok as Bubesi the Conqueror. The particular encounter that we're going to talk about today is the game that took place between West Ham United as well as Brighton Hove Albion at the London Stadium last night. It was pretty much it wasn't really much of an exciting encounter, to say the least, considering the fact that both teams really did not play according to their best, considering the fact that both teams didn't really play according to their best, but there were chances in between, few and far, considering the fact that in the first half, the best chance that West Ham United did have fell to former Southampton midfielder James Ward-Prowse after his first volleyed effort on his weaker left foot, as he forced a great save from the Brighton goalkeeper. That was a great volley shot. That was the best chance that West Ham had in the first half. And then as you look at Brighton did have a few chances here in between. From a cross free kick, Danny Welbeck's header was well saved by goalkeeper Areola, and from the rebound as well, we saw Hinchelwood failing to capitalize from the rebound. That was a save from point blank range. You would expect Jack Hinchelwood to actually do better from there, but great save once again, great double save from Areola. As well as we also did see Cross did also have an opportunity in the first half to give the away side the lead, but that was just the story of the entire complexion of the game. There were a lot of chances. Brighton had the better of the chances, but lack of quality in front of goal was what actually let them down, as well as even West Ham. West Ham did also have great opportunities, considering even in the second half, Thomas Souček, he found himself in a great position after Berama did some wonderful work on the left-hand side, crossing the ball into a dangerous area, and he toe-poked it, Thomas Souček, but it just missed the target by inches. You understand? So it was that kind of a game, and from a West Ham perspective, you are worried about how they will be able to cope, without the services of Mohamed Kudus, who will be on international duty for Ghana at the African Cup of Nations, which is scheduled to kick off in about 10 days' time. In the Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, as well as the fact that West Ham were also without the services of the injured star man Lucas Paqueta, who's still nursing an injury. So there was some lack of quality from both sides. Although you could say Brighton actually dominated the entire game. Even James Milner had another volleyed effort, but it was way off goal, way off target. João Pedro had a couple of opportunities, as well as which the best of one was the one where he found himself in great space, dribbling past a few West Ham defenders, actually finding himself in space, but it was just that killer finish that he lacked, which was a great save again by Areola, but you would expect João Pedro to actually, add a bit of power into that shot to actually, trouble the goalkeeper, perhaps even hit the back of the net, because he did so well. He did all the right things, dribbling past the West Ham defense, to actually find himself, to create an opening for himself and force a great shot. But, you'd expect him to actually put more power into that shot. But great save once again by Areola. Areola did keep the hammers in the game, because considering the fact that how dominant Brighton were and the fact that they created so many opportunities, West Ham have got Areola to actually thank, for that, because, he made some wonderful saves to actually keep the hammers in the game, right? And this goalless draw actually does so much good for the away side, because now Brighton have kept their first clean sheet of the season, which ends a 23, which ends like a scenario of where like they've gone 23 consecutive games without actually keeping a clean sheet coming into this one. So luckily, first time, this is their first clean sheet of the season, ending a run of 23 consecutive games without even keeping a clean sheet. And as for West Ham, now West Ham stays 6th on the table, and then as well as Brighton now move up to 7th. You understand? And what's also meant to be noted is that actually, like, this is the fifth 0-0 draw of the Premier League this season, right? We've seen a couple of other 0-0 draws before. Most notably the Liverpool vs Manchester United game, which did result in a goalless draw, as well as Bournemouth vs Chelsea also resulted in a goalless draw, amongst others. So this is the fifth goalless draw of the Premier League season, this current season, right? And for Brighton, they miss out on an opportunity to actually close the gap in terms of securing Champions League qualification, because now Brighton remain 3 points behind West Ham United, who are like within 6 points of the top four, right? And Brighton are currently like now level on points with Manchester United. Although what we could actually say is that Brighton have got a better goal difference than Manchester United, so that's why they find themselves in 7th position. And there was some history to actually be made, from an individual perspective, considering certain players such as Facundo Bunanote. Facundo Bunanote, who's actually like the youngest player to create as many as 4 chances in a Premier League game since Callum Hudson-Odoi did the same for Chelsea against Newcastle in October 2019. And remember, what's actually to be noticed is that Facundo Bunanote is actually 19 years old, 10 days only. 19 years old, 10 days. You understand? So, which makes him the youngest player to create as many as 4 chances in a Premier League game. You understand? And, another historic factor that you have to consider, which is like ironic, is that this is the first 0-0 draw, at the London Stadium for West Ham, right? This is their first 0-0 draw at the London Stadium, in the Premier League since September 2018 against Chelsea. You understand? So basically, this ended a run of 101 games at the London Stadium without a goalless draw. So remember, West Ham set a record of going 101 games at the London Stadium without a goalless draw. So this is just like the first time in a space of 5 years now. Because the last time a goalless draw did take place at the London Stadium was against Chelsea in September 2018. And another factor that we have to consider is that it was West Ham's first goalless draw in 80 games in the competition since December 2021 at Burnley. So, incredible records, incredible stats. If you consider that, that's incredible stats. Even though we know West Ham have had inconsistent runs over the previous seasons, but that's an incredible stat. Those are incredible stats if you consider it. And what's also ironic is the fact that Brighton, had 22 shots in this game. The most West Ham have ever faced in a Premier League game without even conceding since December 2017 against Arsenal. You understand? And as for West Ham, now West Ham go like 4 games unbeaten, including keeping 4 clean sheets in the process. You understand? They've now kept 4 clean sheets and now they go 4 games unbeaten. So that is some room for optimism. That is some positivity, to say the least. But a bit of more consistency, man, a bit of more sharpness in front of goal is needed from both these sides if they are to keep their hopes of actually securing European qualification for next season. Because the lack of sharpness is what will let both these teams down. You understand? Especially Brighton. Brighton should have converted most of their chances. You understand? Because they were slightly the better team. And a great performance by the other youngster, Jack Hinchelwood, who was the man of the match. At 18 years old, Jack Hinchelwood put in a stellar performance at right back for Brighton, Hove and Albion, and deservedly he was the man of the match. So once again, Brighton just need to capitalize more on their chances. They just need that sharpness, including West Ham, because with those few chances that both these teams get, that West Ham got, they should have at least scored 1 or 2 goals. But nonetheless, perhaps this draw might work for them, but still, in terms of them qualifying for Champions League, they need to do more. They need 3 points. You understand? And with the absence of Mohamed Kudus, I wonder how is that really going to affect their performance? Because if you look at yesterday's performance against Brighton, it wasn't all too convincing. But we'll see. We wait to see.